Okay, hello dear class. So today we do a little painting and it's easy and very relaxing. So very first I put water on the paper so that I can later on put some color, and the color with the water as base will very freely flow on the paper. And another thing, you see, I am not putting my color to the edge, but still I put a tape on the edge. This way, the paper is much more flat, and because of the tension through the tape, make this piece of paper much more flat, so it's easier for you to paint. So just as a practice note, a little tip: as long as you have you have the tape, as long as possible, try to put tape on top of on the side of the paper. It is so much easier, even if you get yourself a little bit over the edge, it will look much prettier. And I do not want the color have a very sharp edge, so I use a paper towel to to absorb the edge of color. So when it is getting dried, it has a very soft transition into the white background. And I use pencil to do 3 mountain outline. It's very simple, just 3 pencil lines. So this way I will draw a very dark color, a very 3 layer of mountain. The further layer is the lightest, but the most condensed color. And then the medium layer is a little bit darker. And the closest layer is the darkest, a little bit purplish, from turquoise, blue, light sky blue, to pure cyan blue, and then to the very dark sapphire blue. So this is a 3 color. You can choose different kind of color scheme, but just to make sure the further away is lighter and the closer to you is darker. So we use this method to distinguish the distance of the mountain. And this is not a realistic painting. It's relatively abstract, a little bit on your dream. So it is not very strictly you have to do a particular way. As long as your color express what you want to express, and that is good enough. So I put the edge in dark color or in more condensed color, and the rest I actually just use the brush, use water to let the color slowly transition. And as I am working on it, later on I will still add some darker color, and the watercolor, when it is getting dried, sometimes the color get lighter, and you want to have some contrast. The color light, color strong, and you do not want to have too strong color from the background, right? The background should be lighter. The value of the background should be lighter. And if your background is already there, here the background is the pinky sky and the pinky bottom. So the only way to make it a contrast is actually just make your trees color, your mountains color a little bit darker. So I use cyan blue, the very pure blue, and added a little bit purple so that it looks a little bit darker. And the tree leaves is just clusters of water. At the very first, I use light color. And because my brush has a lot of water, so some of these color are actually quite dark. So I dry the brush and then absorb the color. And when we know the trees at the top of the tree, when there are sunshine, it color usually lighter, right? With sun, it's lighter on the bottom of the leaf, usually. So I put darker color at the bottom of the leaf, and just slowly adding the color a little bit darker, add some branches, and let myself just feel free to put a dot here, to put a dot there, and I actually put a little bit black in it so that the color is strong. And at the very beginning, I make sure that I paint something lighter, and the tree branch and the tree trunk are usually quite thin. And this is the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When I do this voiceover, I need to drink some water. Don't you feel it's funny? I feel this is even more lively, and by myself making some mistake, it makes you a little bit more relaxed, right? I feel nobody is perfect, and I am just doing here and there to improve a little bit. It is a relatively tedious process, and there is not much you can do about it. Do a piece of painting takes time, and takes practice, and takes thinking. And a lot of time, the thinking process is actually in the doing. When you do the painting, you see the color contrast, the cold color, warm color contrast, but at the same time, you want to see some depth contrast, right? And some texture contrast. So here I am choosing a flat head brush, and this one is a natural hair. It's from a very rough textured hair. It's not nylon hair, those kind of very thin, very refined. These are just very chunky and rough hair. So that is good because I want to do the mountain part, right? The mountain sometimes have some rocks, have some grass, have a piece of a little tree branch. Just you want to create different texture, right? So you just dab, and get the edge a little bit darker so that there is color transition. And also this brush has some very interesting texture, and each one sticks out, so that that really helps create a more coherent and more interesting and differentiated texture. Look at my hair, my white hair. So just to keep on adding here, adding there, there is no end of it. And when I do it, I was thinking, this may not be enough. Now I am thinking, why do I take so much time? So the whole piece of the whole piece of painting took me around 30 minutes something, and a lot of these zigzag do touch and little details I added out. So, but the painting process is completely the real time painting. At the very beginning, I tape it. I tape the blue tape, and I wet the paper and everything. I cut it out, so you are seeing the whole process of the real work. It takes time. There is no way you get away from it. Just keep on practicing and paint it, and stand aside, sit aside, rethink, and see what you can add on. I'm thinking this is a little bit too smooth. Don't you think so? The sky looks a little bit too smooth. It will be better to put some even extra texture. So I splashed some color. And this splash, you really need to be careful. Sometimes when you get a big blob of water, boom, it gets a lot of a splash. A big splash does not look good. So practice a little bit. Some people use toothbrush, some people use finger, some people use two brushes stuck together to hit each other together. You get the idea. You practice a little bit, and until you get the best texture and the best result. And that is about it. What do you think? Thank you very, very much. I love you. I really do. Do, 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 do. Cuckoo, bye, bye.